This is K Rockcast, the podcast where music and perspectives collide.
I'm Anne, a music lover who's the ultimate fan.
And I'm Kelly, a professional musician. Join us as we dive into the world of the Rose and other Korean Asian rock bands. Sometimes we'll agree, sometimes we'll wildly disagree, but what's guaranteed is passionate, hilarious, and unfiltered conversation about the music that unites us and the bands that inspire us.
All right, hi everybody. We're back for part 2 of Into the Void, and we're going to pick up right where we left off at the end of part 1. We're going to now be talking about the rest of the songs in the Void album. So now we get into April 16th, 2018. They do release a mini album called Void. So I did some research and I watched some like old interviews. There was an old interview with K Music, and Woo-sung talked about the meaning behind the album and kind of void. So in his explanation, he equated void to emptiness, and he felt like all the songs. So he kind of said it made it sound like they had written a bunch of songs and they picked a theme, this theme of emptiness that they felt they gravitated to. They thought their listeners could relate to this feeling of emptiness. Everybody's kind of felt a void in their life at some point. And they compiled songs that they felt like fit within that theme. And so he said that he thinks that every song, I kind of question maybe if all these songs fit of this emptiness concept, but that was his explanation for the interview, that all of them fit this theme of emptiness and void. So yeah, I think as we keep talking about, obviously Sorry fits that, right? In terms of what it's about.
Yeah.
I think Tron and Day fits that. But
Yeah.
as we get into the next song, which we're going to talk about, Candy, So Good, thought that was a little bit of a stretch, but
Well, I mean, yeah, he does have an explanation for this, doesn't he?
he does. So I'm going to go off a little bit off the cuff on some of my analysis of these lyrics as I've been giving this song a little more of a listen when we get there. Some spiciness to this song. But so April 16th, then their mini album Void was released. Candy So Good is the first song on that. Still, we have songwriters, composers, arrangement, all the rows, but changing it up from what Kelly you shared in these other songs where the instrumentation being played during the recording were likely these session musicians. We now see in the credits drums Hajun,
Yeah.
piano Dojun, guitar Woo-sung, Jaehyeong. So I think that's interesting that now in some of these other songs that are on this mini album, they are playing the instruments during the recording session. The recording engineering was done at Tone Studio, mixing done at Tone Studio, and the mastering at 821 Sound. So let's get into the melody on this. You have a little bit of a hot take because I told you, I remember I was like, the melody is like so catchy. It's like it's like an earworm. And what did you tell me when I said that?
I ruined this song for you, didn't I?
You did. You
I'm
did.
sorry.
You did.
So obviously I've mentioned the fact that the guys started very much in the theme of Brit rock, which it's still there. Because even though they've mixed out into other styles, they're still stealing from us. We'll get into that one later. So there's a band in Britain, in the north of England, called the 1975, and they did a song called Chocolate. It's very similar.
It is very similar. When you said that, I had to listen, and then I was like, holy shit, it is. And it's called Chocolate, and the song's called Candy.
Yeah, so this is obviously, I drive you mad, don't I, with the fact
You
that I come out
do.
with all the Britishisms, and then you're just like, what the hell are you on
Yeah, like what
about?
the
So I mean, you lot, that sounds terrible. You Americans.
Oh, I didn't know what you I was like, what's a you-lot?
You lot.
I'm like, what's a you-lot?
Yeah, it's somewhere where you put yous, apparently.
Yeah, I'm like, what are we parking in a you-lot? What kind of car is that?
I'm sorry. I can't help it. We invented the language, you know.
Don't go there. Don't go there.
Anyway, so in England, when we have sweets, they're all called specifically by what they are. So chocolate is chocolate. What do you call chocolate in the States?
We call it candy.
There
It's
you
just a type of
go.
candy.
So the 1975 wrote a song called Chocolate. Now, chocolate isn't, it's not a song about Cadbury's or Thornton's or any of those brands. It is quite literally a song about a female, and her pseudonym is Chocolate.
Okay, so this fits right into my hot take. The more I listen to this song, and then in that interview, Woo-sung says, "Oh, this song connects to the theme because we're talking about how candy melts and then nothing lasts forever," right? That's his like
Hmm.
way to connect it to this void or emptiness. And then I was like reading the lyrics and lyrics, it's like
Come on,
about,
get the lyrics out.
oh my goodness, the more I read hold on.
You just wait until we get onto things like face.
Oh, I can't wait. He says, "The never-ending kisses, your firm reaction, I wanna make you soft."
I'm slightly concerned by that. Whose firm reaction and what is he making soft?
I'm just saying. I was like, "Ooh, wow."
Hello.
I had a whole different, like,
Hello, matron.
interpretation. I was like, "This sounded very sexual innuendo here." Like, he could be
Oh,
talking about sucking on a lollipop and how the candy gets soft after you,
of course.
have it
Yes,
in your mouth and it starts to melt away.
yes.
He says, "I want
Be careful where we're going. Be careful.
spin you around." So he could be talking about, like, spinning around in
Whoa!
the candy. And I was like, "What is this song really about?"
Yeah, exactly. And I must admit, the lyrics to Chocolate by the 1975 equally interesting, to be perfectly honest.
I mean, here I was so innocent, like, "Do do 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 do." I was just like, "This song is so happy. It's so bubbly and happy." And then I'm like, "Wait a second. Oh my
Oh God,
god.
no! It's drenched in sexual innuendo all the way through it.
I'm clutching my pearls over here. He's making me blush." Kim
I
Woo-sung.
thought
Oh my
I
gosh.
thought it was us Brits that were meant to be clutching pearls.
Oh my
No.
gosh. There's
No.
more, Kelly.
Go
Crouch
on, go on.
down. He says, "Time passes by, crouch down, getting smaller your spine." I mean, yeah. This song, I'm
Hello,
listening to
madam.
it with a whole new perspective now.
Yes, I would as well, to be perfectly honest.
I think it's my favorite.
Of course it is. Yeah, yeah. No, but honestly, and the reason I say, I mean, there's a name thing that relates it to the 1975, but you've got the picked guitar is
Mm,
so similar. It's got that high sort of picking
I
sound
love
to it.
that.
It's lovely.
It's so
And
catchy.
it's very catchy, but it is very definitely of the 2000s in Britain.
Yeah.
And like every other rock song had got that picked guitar in it, but the bass line groove. We need to talk about how good the bass line is in Candy. I love
Mm.
it. It's just got a depth to it. And to be perfectly honest, I mean, if you're using sexually charged lyrics and innuendos and everything else, you need a very sexual bass line. And
Oh,
by God, that's a
I
good
feel like
one.
I gotta now re-listen to this with the bass line.
Oh, it's a good one. It's good. I'm
Mm.
the world's worst bass player, but I am technically a bass player as well. So, but
What
yeah,
don't you
no.
do, Kelly? I'm still trying to figure
Um,
out what I bring to this relationship. I don't know.
no,
It's yet to be
well, look,
decided.
let's put it this way. I like to consider myself a Jacqueline of. Oh well, no, it's a mistress. Oh no, my brain's not working. What is the term? A master. What's the
Isn't it
term?
like a master,
A
it's like a
jack of
master
all
of none?
a jack of all trades and and yeah. So it's a Jacqueline of all trades and a mistress of none. There we go.
There you
My
go. We got it.
brain works eventually. There we go.
Well, hot take on Candy, Black Roses. If you never thought of this song this way, please go back and listen to Void. You're going to listen to this song with a whole new perspective now.
I apologize in advance. We're
And
sorry
I
that we've ruined it for
and
you.
I'm going to say you're welcome. So there we go. All right, let's move on to Baby. This song for fans, I feel like for Black Roses, they love this song.
They
Everybody loves
do.
this song. I don't know how many people I've talked to in becoming a fan of the Rose, and I asked them their favorite songs, and this is always in the top 5 with people. And I
Yeah,
think
I
at first I didn't really appreciate this song. And I
I
have
didn't
come to
either.
love it.
Yeah, I didn't appreciate it either, so you're not on your own there. I enjoy it, and I think actually as I've listened to it more, it's sort of sunk in a little bit further, and it's sort of
Mm,
gone, "No, I'm staying here. You are gonna listen to me." But again, it's very much the MO on this entire album. It starts
yeah.
off simple and it builds and it builds and it builds. I mean, don't get
Yeah.
me wrong, I say on this album, a lot of songs are structured in that way. A lot of songs you start off, it's sort of teasing the listener in.
Mhm.
So it's like you very gently grab hold of the hand before you drag them away. And that's what happens, I find, with a lot of the earlier tracks, that's what they do. And this does exactly the same before the full melody kicks in. It just builds and builds and builds and builds.
Yeah, so why don't you break down, the production on this one for us?
So again, this one is the Rose for songwriting and composer. The arrangement, they had Ji-hoo work on it as well. Again, playing, it was the band again. There were a couple of session musicians in there helping. On the bass, and actually it was the same on Candy as well. Choi Hoon played bass on both of those tracks, and Jaehyeong was playing guitar on that one. So yeah, it's interesting to see how they've picked up and developed
Mhm.
writing and also the performance of it. I think
Yeah.
possibly the first two singles, I think that was probably a management idea just to get the best out of it, to get some session musicians in to help. Because that sounds like a record label management idea. It's the type of random crap they come out with. Again, this one was recorded at Tone Studios and mastered at 821 Sound.
So here's another example, like we've said, most of these songs start simple chords and Woo-sung's voice. And I just feel like this song in particular to me, it's so haunting. It's very like the melody to me feels brooding. I think that's the word I use. It's
Are
just
you describing it as the Heathcliff of all songs?
yeah, oh my gosh, yes.
It does have a
Yes.
Heathcliff thing about it. He is
There's a
calling Kathy off the
very Heathcliff
hills.
thing about it. That is
Yeah.
a perfect description.
Yeah.
And then we
It
get
is.
his stellar acting in the music video where he's very brooding with his, like, stagger and his fake running, and he's acting like he's drunk and just throwing his because he's lost his love, like, peak acting from Kim Woo-sung in this.
Is that right? I'll let you call it that. We'll leave that there.
With the hair. I can't not talk about Void and not talk about Kim Woo-sung's hair at that time. I had to put that post on the Rosarium that, like, I was doing this deep dive of research and I just, like, got obsessed with his white blonde hair.
The platinum hair, do you know what? Actually, I'm kind of a fan of it in a weird way.
And another Black Rose, shout out to the person that said it's not just the color, but then like that like long where he let it kind of curly. I think it's the combination of the two.
Yeah, it
Because he
probably
went
is.
really blonde during genre, and I
Yes.
wasn't a big fan of that personally.
That was more California blonde, though. It wasn't platinum
Yeah, I don't
blonde.
know. There's something about this like Void era. Woo-sung's hair was so good. And so he looks so good in the music video.
I have a feeling that was the first time it was bleached because we all know when you bleach hair, woof.
Yeah.
It doesn't go back until it grows back.
Yeah, but it's like the melody is so good. It starts with these simple piano keys, then it's like this bass drum kicks in, then the bass
Yes.
guitar kick. So it's like it builds, like you said, it just kind of builds you up to then like this full melody.
Well, again, it's this one's in a minor again, and it's in B minor, so that's where your brooding comes in
Yeah.
because we're in that territory again.
Yeah.
It's 122 beats, which is pretty much sort of average time. It's an average time signature. We're 4/4. That's what it is. We're not getting anything complicated, but you do get these really lovely bass drum stabs.
So what I like about this song that I feel like structurally is different than the other songs we've talked about so far is this build up and then it drops. And then it
Yes,
builds you up again in the second chorus, and then it drops at the bridge.
which is what really good songs should do. So they should take you on a
Yeah.
journey. So emotionally, they should pull you up, drop you down. pull you up,
Yeah.
drop you down, and then it's like a roller coaster because it's a
Right.
roller coaster of emotions.
Yes. This song does that.
Yeah, it does
Um,
it very well.
yeah, I just love then at the very end of the song, there's this like really strong push in the tempo that just takes you all the way then through the end of the song. So again,
Which you
back to what
need.
you said, this like roller coaster that
Yeah,
it's
you need.
pulling you through.
Yeah. For a good song, you need that sort of just drive to get you over the finish line, and especially with how this song is formatted. And I mean, Hajan, God bless him, the drums are great on this.
There we go. Drink. Here's another drink for those of you that are listening and playing the drinking game, singing the praises of Lee Ha-joon. Please love this
Honestly,
man.
his drumming is
He's
I
so
mean,
underrated.
he is so underrated.
He
It
is
is
the most
not
underrated member
even
of the Rose. There, I said it. Unpopular opinion, maybe. I don't know.
he's very underrated in the band, but as an actual drummer in the sphere of drumming, by God, he is underrated. He should have endorsement deals. He
Yeah.
should have his own drumsticks and the lot,
Mhm.
because there are drummers that I know who have endorsement deals, and I think, how the hell have you got that?
Yeah. Well, let's give a little background on Ha-joon. Out of all the members, he did study at university. So
Yeah,
he
he did.
is, I would say, more, musically trained than
He's a music
anybody
major.
else within the band. So yeah, I think like I said, he's all around, man. He's got it all.
He does.
The voice of an
And
angel. I said it again.
you do realise, I think that's about 10 shots in that one
I do.
sentence.
This is only
So
episode 1.
if you're still listening to this and you're sober, God help you. You have
I
got a
told
stronger
you.
constitution than we have.
I told you this is my only reason why I wanted to do this podcast. But give me a soapbox, talk about how much I love Haju's vocals.
It's the only reason we're doing it.
It's
There
the
you
only
go.
reason I'm doing this.
Yeah, definitely. But no, it's Baby is a great song. I love it. It's just got such fantastic drive. Musically, it is fantastic. You
Yeah.
take away the vocals.
Oh wow, you're right. When I listened to the instrumental of this one, it hit different.
Yeah, now this is a weird thing, and I think I've mentioned it to you before. So when you've got a vocal melody and you've got words and it sits over the top of any form of music, mentally you latch onto the words first because it's what you understand first. The music's there, you convey the music, you understand it. Emotionally you take in the music, but you latch on to the lyrics. And the human ear sort of detects emotion in the human voice. So you could sing a word and it be any word in the world, but you can alter how you phrase it and pitch it. And it could make something like love be really angry
Mm,
or fragile or happy. And you can do that with the human voice. But we're programmed to understand what that sound is, even if there isn't a word.
mhm.
So if the human voice is literally just following the melody and creating those sounds without forming the word, you still understand what is trying to be conveyed. And the only thing that gets close to it is a guitar. The guitar is about the only other instrument that can convey that emotion in a similar way. I mean, there's videos of guitars having conversations, and I mean, obviously, it's not words, but you can literally hear the words in it because your brain fills in the dots. So it's like, weirdly enough, it's like when a baby cries, parents know why that baby's crying. That cry is because they're hungry or they're thirsty or they just want attention. And it's the same with any level of maturity in a human voice. When you strip that away from a song, take that out completely, and you're left with literally the music, it evolves. And then you start to hear the different nuances in the melody and
Yeah.
it becomes a completely different animal. And that
Oh yeah.
happens, I think that happens more with Baby than it does with a lot of the other
I
tracks.
would completely agree. I'm just thinking as you were talking, I would love to know how the members think of this song now looking back. Like, I wonder if they think it's one of the best songs in their discography or if they're just kind of like that old stuff is like, "Oh, we can do so much better now." I think it's one of the best in their discography.
Weirdly enough, I was having a conversation with my keyboard player about this, and he'd mentioned a song that he'd written about 5 years ago, and he's like, Kelly, it's awful. It keeps sitting in my head. It will not leave me alone. I'm waking up in the middle of the night and it's there. What did I do wrong in a former life? And I was like, what's the issue? And he said, he turned to me and he went, what relationship do you have with songs once they've left you, once they've
Mm,
been fully formed and you send them out into the world? And he was sort of saying that either when he does it, they just leave him and he has no feelings for them whatsoever at all, or he loves them and nurtures them like children. And I have a slightly different take. I think mine's more like a sort of tempestuous romance with me. It's like one day I love them, the next day I hate them, and I kind of go on with, and I think a lot of musicians are like that. And I
mm.
think they probably have a similar feeling. I think when you've probably played it 30 nights on the trot and you're like, God, I've got to play this again.
I wonder that with musicians because it's like, do they just get like sick of playing the same songs like over and over again?
It falls into one of two categories. I think when you're a musician, muscle memory takes over.
Mm, mm.
So when you're physically playing an instrument, muscle memory takes over and you just play it. When you're a singer, muscle memory again, because at the end of the day, it's just a muscle, it's an instrument that we're using. It's there. But to convey it properly and for the audience to understand it properly, everybody's got to perform it with emotion. And
Right,
sometimes you have to change the emotion that you're feeling at the time
right.
to
And
make sense of the
hopefully
song.
feeding off your audience, right? And that,
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
audience
yeah, yeah,
loves
yeah.
this song and they're singing with you, then that gives you some of that, like, oh, it's not just baby again. Here we go.
Oh, yeah, I mean, don't
But
get
they
me wrong.
don't
If
play. I'm trying to think. I don't know that they really play anything from the Void album anymore on their set
no,
list.
no, I think they will occasionally throw a little bit in during a sound check. So
Oh,
if
you're
you if
right.
you
That's probably where they would do it.
yeah,
Yeah.
so if you get like the VIP ticket, like the first level ticket, don't get me
Kelly,
started. Do not get me started
Kelly,
on ticket.
do you know
No,
now
no.
if I am ever, hand to God, if I'm ever lucky enough to ever get that level, do you know what song I'm asking for? You know what
What
song
would
I'm
it be?
asking for.
What would it be? It's California, isn't it?
It is
Don't
not
worry.
California.
He
It is
won't
Candy.
remember the
I'm gonna have
he
him
won't
sing Candy
remember the
to me with now knowing what I know about these lyrics.
You say that. He won't remember the lyrics, so you're
He won't
fine.
remember the lyrics. I will have to remind him. If he played California for me, I would be like, God damn it.
Oh, he'll play California for you. Don't worry.
Well, getting
Oh.
into the lyrics of Baby a little bit, when you read the translation, to me, I feel like they're telling kind of the story of you're in this relationship. You kind of know, you both know it's not really going to work out. Know that it isn't working. It needs to end, but kind of neither one of you has the courage to actually say the words out loud. That's kind of how I interpret it. They talk about not wanting to hold the other person back kind of throughout the song, kind of as if, staying in the relationship and holding the other person back from being truly happy. So they just want to kind of let it go. Um that's
I always find his use of space quite interesting.
mm,
So in this, there is a lot in reference to stars and gazing and moonlight.
yeah. I thought you meant physical space when you said space, like spacing in
No, but
his
no, no,
singing or
but
something.
no, but is
Um
it? No, I mean actually in the lyrics. But is that
you're
in?
meaning like astrology. He speaks a lot to stars and outer space. That's what you.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
He's
yeah.
well, he does the astronomy, but he tends to lean to the astrology.
Yeah, you
But
know what? That's a good take. He does a lot, doesn't he?
yeah, he does, and it's all the way through this. But I sometimes
Mhm.
wonder if that relates to his own idea of what the void is.
Oh,
So is to him
yeah.
is space the void?
Yeah.
So my major at university was physics and I did cosmology. So my thing is space. I'm a black holes girl though. That's my thing.
Yeah.
So I find his use of space and moonlight and stars and gazing quite an interesting take on his internal void
Yeah.
and
I
how he
love that.
externalizes it. So yeah, it's interesting.
See, this is why you go so much deeper than I do. I love that though. I love that take. Now I'm just like thinking about that a little bit more. I think my favorite line he says in Korean, and he says it like kind of at the end when we talked about like the melody will build, and then
Yeah,
it like
yeah, yeah.
drops on you. He says "우리 둘이 함께 했던." I love the way he say
Yes.
"우리 둘이," like the way he like does that little kind of staccato. I just
It is staccato. It's very da 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 da
da-da,
da da
da-da,
da da,
da-da. I love that. I love his
which is
delivery of that.
which is lovely because if you then take away the vocals, all the instruments do it as well.
Oh, I guess I didn't realize that.
There is a stab from all the instruments that fit did it, and it's lovely. That's great. I mean, that's really clever musicianship. This is editor Kelly here. I am in fact talking absolute bollocks at this point. I don't know what the hell I was listening to, but it wasn't Baby. What I meant to say was how everything comes in as a wall of sound after the pause in the music. Right, back to the podcast.
Yeah, it is. And he says in that line, it's like we used to be together. He's kind of like saying like, we were together. Um yeah, yeah, I love this song. This is definitely I still play this song a lot. Like it's heavy in my rotation of the Rose.
Yeah, yeah. The only thing I don't get, and I want to ask this, what the hell are trembling eyes?
Trembling Eyes. Yeah.
I don't know whether that's a lost in translation thing.
Yeah, I have to say the translate so we got our English translations from genius.com. And as I not that I am super proficient in Korean, I can hold my own. I looked at some of these and I don't know quite if the translations are all that accurate. So,
I mean, my Korean's not as advanced as yours, but I mean, even I sort of looked at it and went, no, that can't be right.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, so that might be something kind of lost in translation there.
Oh, it definitely is. I mean, the Korean language has so many more words than the English language, and the English language is forever expanding. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not surprised by that at all.
All right, let's move on to ILY. Stands for I love you, right? That is what that stands
It
for, right?
does. It
Okay,
does.
I
And
was
do you
like,
know what? I love this song. I think this is really sweet, this one. I
oh,
really, this one seems to come from a place of genuine, heartfelt emotion.
yeah. Yeah, I think it again back to kind of what a simple song. It's so simple.
Mm.
There aren't really many lyrics to the song and a very slow melody but just so pure. I think this is a fan favorite. Fans love this song. It was released again as part of the Void mini album on April 16th, 2018. Songwriters, composers, arrangement, all the Rose. Again, we get drums by Ha-jun, piano by Do-jun, guitar by Woo-sung. We do get Choi Hoon as the bass. But interestingly, in the chorus, we see Jaehyun and Ha-jun's name there, singing more of like the backup vocals. Recording was done at Tone Studio along with the mixing and then mastering at 821 Sound. Now, I think this was interesting. Woo-sung explained how this connected to the theme of void and emptiness. He says it's a love song. So if you look at the lyrics, it's a love song, but that he says the melody is sad, which is
Yes.
very true. It's like a very melancholy, sad, heavy. I called it like heavy. It's like a heavy melody, but yet the lyrics are all about this deep love you have for this other person. So to me, there's a little bit of like a contrast there. Do you have a take on that?
Yeah. But it's again, it's this, it almost seems unrequited to me.
Oh, yeah, an unrequited love. Yeah. There's
It's
nothing
it's
more emptier than that.
it's horrid.
It is
It's
horrid.
and it feels this level of, again, it's got, even though it's beautiful and it's a love song, and I think most people pick it up as, they just pick up the refrain of "I love you."
Mm,
But again, I mean, we had a conversation about the police, didn't we? And every breath we take, and it's like, people play this song at their wedding, and it's a song about a stalker.
mm,
I mean, it's this misconception of what
yeah,
something, because it's delivered in a certain way, doesn't necessarily mean that that's the true emotion behind it.
yeah.
And actually, I can see what he means about it being the void, because time is passing by, don't let me go.
Mhm.
Again, we're back to this pleading thing.
Yeah, his lyrics in this song are so poetic. Like, I
Yes.
think he is a master lyricist. I think he's one of the best in my opinion, and I think he writes a lot of lyrics that are very poetic, but this song in particular, just like every line feels like a line out of a poem to
Yeah,
me.
I mean, when you bear in mind, I feel cold on the inside, but your warmth warms me up. Baby, I'm falling for
Mm.
you. That's what kind of leads me to the fact that it might be slightly unrequited.
Yeah.
It's that feeling of, I'm around you and I want to love you and I do love you, but why the hell aren't you loving me back?
Yeah, because then he say, "When I'm alone, I would feel restless, my mind feels hazy, but when I hear your warm voice, I'm falling for you." So again, kind of being around them, as you said, that you're just continuing to kind of fall in love with them, and they're just, like, pulling you in.
Yeah, you feed off of their
You
energy.
feed that's a good way to say it. Yeah,
You
you feed
feed you
off of
feed
that.
off the yeah, you feed off of their energy.
I
But it's
feel
not.
like you said, I feel the cold on the inside and then, like, warming you
Yeah.
up. I feel like that's that, like, feeding
Yeah,
off,
yeah.
that line.
I mean, he does have a thing about writing lyrics about being lonely, and
Yeah,
this is something that's been throughout his entire career,
yeah.
which I kind of get, because actually, I think if I sit and look at my lyrics as a sort of discography of what I've written, if I looked at it as a diary, I think I probably have some of those. I
Mm.
mean, slightly different, because I mean, I've been in lots of different types of bands. So I've been into like rock bands and metal bands and industrial bands, but when you're sort of fronting something that's quite heavy, it's very hard to sort of sing about something that is truly emotional. The only band that kind of got away with that was the Deftones, and that's why the Deftones are loved as much as they are. I found it very hard sort of fronting a band made up of a lot of guys to sing about my emotions at the time. I mean, now, oh my God, now. I mean, I write lyrics and they're like going, "What were we feeling today, Kelly?" Oh, a certain level of melancholy, missing somebody, wishing for, X, Y, and Z, and they just sit and laugh at me now. They just take it on board. But I mean, once upon a time, I would have gone very heavy into storytelling. And I think this is one of the reasons that they've always managed to connect, because he always has written from such an emotional level.
Yeah, I agree there, and I think for me, I said it earlier, I just connect the most with people's music where they really are telling a story, and I think The
Yeah,
Rose, so many of their songs, I mean, maybe California, I don't know what story they're telling there, maybe that's why I don't connect with it, but,
come on.
I do think they have such an art of and I think Wu Sung says it a lot, he always focuses on the human experience.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
he's writing. Okay, this I think this is the last piece we're gonna talk about with this song, we'll wrap up with our humor segment, but and maybe this will be a little bit of, I don't know, controversial, opinion to talk about a little bit, but we're gonna kinda take a minute to talk about Woo-sung's voice,
Mm,
and that in these earlier songs, I think it is most seen in this song. He relied very heavily on his falsetto, which I think you would say his head register, right? Is that the correct
Yes.
technical
Yeah,
term?
yeah,
Look at
yeah.
me. I'm learning. I'm learning.
Yeah, yeah, falsetto
Um,
is correct, but yeah, you class it as your head register.
And
Yeah.
and I think he talked about this in his mindset. It just for whatever reason when he started singing was his natural way of singing. Like I don't think he knew what he was doing. And even the coaches at the on the K-pop star kind of gave him feedback like, I don't think you should sing like that. Like I think they were coming from a place of saying it's probably not sustainable,
Mm,
but it was so trademark. Like this like trail he has such a unique sound to his voice when he sings that way, and he didn't know really any other way to sing, so it was what was comfortable for him. He just went with it, and it has become, I think, his trademark. Some of these iconic songs from earlier in their career, also some of his solo stuff, he sings very heavily in it. But I think this isn't sustainable
no,
because I
it's
think it
not.
has led to, honestly, some challenges he's had with
It
his
has.
vocals, where he's singing now more in his chest register. So give us your take on this.
So I need to give you a bit of a background about the human voice. So I think technically he's classed as a tenor. So all sort of women go into three categories. So you have soprano, mezzo soprano, and alto or contralto. I'm a bottom feeder. I live in alto land. Actually, I'm not doing myself a service here. I've got a pretty decent range. Go up there so I can do most of the
Is
piano.
what's the range that's the dead alley cat? Because that's where I fall when I sing. So you didn't mention that one.
A dead alley cat is soprano sat on the fence,
Okay.
not 100% sure if you're going to fall off.
I'm just screaming. I have no in my head, it sounds amazing.
Oh yeah, it does. Don't worry about it.
So, just saying.
No, I'm a true believer in everybody can sing unless you have some form of deformity within your palate. Everybody can sing. And a lot of it is learning to listen. It's not about what comes out, it's actually understanding how it sounds as it comes out
Mm.
and how you form words. So everybody can do it. Some people just have a natural born gift,
Mhm.
like Sammy.
Yeah.
And he has this really beautiful voice that sits, I think he's tenor. I think he sits in that range. He's not baritone. He's I think we could probably push Dojon could probably be baritone. I think he'd probably sort of just about squeeze into that one. But he sits very much in that level. So when you talk and when you sing, so your first natural note that comes out of you is very like your normal speaking voice, and that's your modal sort of vocal register. So you fluctuate when you talk. So, I mean, when you get excited, weirdly enough, men sort of like when they see attraction, their voice goes down, and hey, you get all of that. A woman will tend to go higher and really excited. So sorry, I apologize for that. But that's what tends to happen. So your voice fluctuates frequently within that. To go into your falsetto voice, it's an octave higher than your modal register. So you're out of your comfort zone basically. And there used to be these old ideologies that the voice comes from a certain point, and it all comes from the larynx. It all comes from your larynx. It all comes from your vocal cords and your vocal box and everything else. And you get to push the sound around, and that's what it creates. But it's to do with frequency and how stupid as it sounds, how your vocal cords clap together. It's Have a look on YouTube at singers' vocal cords. It's quite gory. You'll never ever sort of look at it and another sort of, in a similar way again. Now, we know Sammy admitted that he had developed vocal nodes. I think luckily he'd only got one. They're horrid. They truly are horrible. If you're lucky and you rest, they go away. So it's like a benign lump on the actual cord. A lot of the time it's like a little white spot. It's like a friction burn. As stupid as it sounds, that's what it's
It
like.
must be
So
so
like
painful.
it's really painful. I had them when I was a kid, and it's not nice.
And I think
It's
correct me, I feel like he kind of shared that he had this, it would have been in 2023,
Yeah,
and they had no break.
yeah.
I mean,
They
this
just kept
man
going.
was they were doing festival tours, which is the level of dust
Yeah.
and everything in the outside affecting his voice. I look back on that and I think, "Oh my gosh, he must have been in a lot of pain."
Yeah, he would have been. I mean, so when I didn't know that that's what it was until I went to see a singing teacher and I said, "I had this once in the past." And they were like, "Kelly, that would have been a vocal node. But obviously, you were young enough, you rested, you didn't overwork your voice, you were fine." And it feels like you've got for me anyway, it felt like I'd got a splinter in my voice, in my throat. It's the most horrendous, painful thing. You go into coughing spasms. I've seen footage of Sammy where he's not long since done falsetto on the last tour and he has to take a break or he's singing and you'll just see him turn his head away from the mic and give a little cough.
You said that to me, and now I can't unsee it.
I'm so
And
sorry.
I no, but I feel for him, like, I've been watching more of fan cams of the different shows from his tour, his solo tour, the Before We Die tour, and he coughs a lot.
Yeah.
He
So
actually
when you
does
get
that a lot.
a node on your vocal cord, it's akin, I suppose. So like the vocal cords are like a guitar string, and you create and form and fluctuate your vocal cords in a way that you would lengthen and shorten a string when you're playing guitar to get the different notes out of it. It works in exactly the same way. But imagine if you wrapped a piece of cotton wool around one of those strings, you then end up with the sound deadening.
Yeah.
So what happens is you get like a change in the quality of your voice. So you get a hoarseness. Sammy, when he sings, so so to contrast the vocals, Dojon when he sings very openly. So you get a sound that lifts from lower. So it's a little bit more akin to what you get on theatre singers.
Mm.
He's got that clarity. So when he says he's into classical and Disney, I can understand where that
I
comes
could
from.
see that. I could see
I
that guy doing musical theater. Like, I could
oh
see
he'd be amazing at it. He'd be
he would
so
be
so good.
amazing. He's so animated.
His voice is perfect for it, to be perfectly honest. So you get this hoarseness, but you also get breathiness. Sammy, the way he sings is he pushes air over the top of his actual larynx, over his vocal cords. So you get that raspy breathiness. And that's why he's got this beautiful timbre to his voice. This just beautiful
I think that
quality
I
that
think there's, like,
drives
this
people mad.
downside now. Like, I think one, I personally, again, maybe this will be an unpopular opinion for our listeners, but I think he doesn't sing these old songs as well as he used to.
He
Like, I think it's
can't.
harder for him. You know, when he's up there singing Red, if I look back now and I watch the Coachella performance, which I'm not taking away from their Coachella performance was phenomenal, but particularly on the second weekend, his performance of Red, he had to rely, he was not out there belting. And that is
No.
a high song.
Oh, it's a high song. I have to concentrate to sing that one
Oh yeah, that
in
is
my
a high pitched song. And so I think it's been interesting. Like I've been kind of reflecting and I guess like noticing a little more on his singing style than I ever did before. And I think in 444, did I have enough fours there? Sorry.
You didn't have enough fours.
It's like that's hard to say.
There wasn't enough fours.
um he definitely wasn't leaning on the falsetto. And then even if I reflect back to Moth, my favorite song off of Moth, I can't wait till we dive into this album, but is Modern Life. And I can remember the first time I heard that song, I thought to myself, wow, he's not singing in a high pitch in that song.
What
He's singing that
do you
song in his chest voice, and he has a beautiful chest
yeah,
voice.
I prefer his chest register.
But I think the conundrum to me is like, I think fans love his falsetto, and I think he's made like a mark.
He's also made a rod for his own back.
What does that mean? What is that? What did you say?
As a rod for his own back. So it's when you do something repetitively and it's expected of you.
Yes. Okay. Right. Right. Yeah.
And because it's so good, people want to hear it.
Yeah,
But
and it's made
there's
him sound different. He sounds different in that falsetto than, like, any other singer. So he has
yeah,
developed for himself a unique sound that is all his own, that has now become kind of the Rose, right? The
yes.
Rose's sound as well. So I guess I would think there's gotta be a lot of pressure to continue singing in that style, but I don't feel like it's sustainable for his voice long
So
term.
it isn't sustainable. He will have been unseen specialists on that. If he hasn't, I need to shout at him and tell him, God, go see a specialist. Don't just see a doctor. Go and see a specialist. There are specialists that deal with this type of thing.
Yeah. Well, I
And
get a feeling he did last year.
I
Or
think
meaning
I
like
think
end of
s-
2023.
I hope and pray that they
Yeah.
said just go and see a specialist because you've got to with this type of thing. So the reason that you get nodes is overuse, which we know damn well when you're touring is going to happen. Now the problem is they do um Q&As beforehand. They do a faux sound check. They've already done a sound check, folks. This isn't what happens at a sound check. A sound check is you load all your equipment in, you stand there going, one, one, two, one,
It's not
one,
that
two. And
glamorous?
no, God, it's the most unglamorous thing in the world. And eventually you'll stand together, you'll play a song. If you've got a couple of minutes, you might jam around with some few bits and pieces. And then that's it, you're ready, you move on. Whereas they come back out, so they'll do a sound check, they'll then do the VIP sound check, they'll then do a Q&A, he'll then go and do the show, then he has a meet and greet afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah, his
So,
voice gets it, and then, like, the level of I mean, when I really reflect back, they kicked off with the Heal Together tour in late 2022 and really honestly did not stop
oh God,
for
no.
until Coachella in
Yeah,
2024.
yeah,
They were on the road, be it tours, be it festivals, all over this world. They were on every continent, and just the amount of outdoor festivals they did throughout the heel era as well into the dual era, that had to have
yeah.
been even worse on his voice.
Festivals are a weird thing because they're either dry and dusty or it's wet through and you're frightened of being electrocuted.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's one you don't get any choice. It's one or the other. There's very rare. I think you might occasionally get a British festival where it's overcast, and that is the moment when you're like, oh, so glad it's Britain.
Yeah.
It's overcast and it's
Yeah,
fantastic.
you never see the
Um,
sun in England. What's up with that?
we do see the sun. We
Mm.
have our summer in May, so literally we have a fortnight in May where it's glorious, and nobody believes us because nobody comes to England in May. Well, in Britain in May. And then you all turn up in the summer in August and go, "Why is it raining?" It's like, "Well,
Yeah,
you've
why is it
technically
raining in,
mi
like, 50 here? What is
yeah."
happening?
It's like, "Well, you've missed our summer. This is it. We have a fortnight in May. That is summer." But we keep that as a trade secret, so I've let that one slip out.
Well,
Um,
I think it'll be interesting to see what he continues to do in terms of the evolution of his vocals. I think when we dig in more into his 4444 album, we'll probably talk about, like, how his vocals, I think,
yeah,
were far more in the chest register, which we both agree we love.
I I
Um,
I
Give me
prefer
more
it,
of the
yeah.
Happy Alone, please. That
Oh
soulful
my
Sammy, oh my
god.
goodness.
Yeah,
He was incredible
I
in that song.
yeah, I'm a fan of that one, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
I think that is I think he'll find that actually there's some comfort in that. I don't think he realized up until that point that actually he's a blues singer.
Yes. He can do blues, jazz, R&B. I mean, this is a new genre for him. I don't think he's been exposed to a lot of that
No,
music,
he definitely
before.
hasn't.
So,
So
yeah,
I just hope with his voice, so to go back to that and to make sure that he can actually continue as long as he possibly can.
yeah.
We know he stopped smoking, even though there was a slight mishap with a vape on a
Yeah,
live,
I
but
don't
we
know.
don't
I
mention that.
Do you think I think he's still vaping.
There's a huge difference between vaping and physical cigarettes.
Yeah.
Physical cigarettes aren't I mean neither's good. dear God, neither is good. But vaping, you don't have the dry heat that you would with a cigarette.
I think when he announced that he had quit smoking, I think that was I'm trying to think of when that was.
It
That
was
might have
after
been
Coachella, I
yeah, yeah,
think,
it was
wasn't
May
it?
of 2024. I feel like to me that was a huge sign that he's like, "Fuck, like, I either
Yeah.
do this or I'm losing my voice." Like, I that's
Uh,
just my
y
personal opinion,
yeah,
but
he either does that or his career alters
yeah,
drastically, to be
yeah.
perfectly honest. But there are things you can do, and he annoys the hell out of me.
What do you mean?
He doesn't bloody drink on stage.
You said that. He does not he
He
really
doesn't
doesn't drink a lot of
hydr
water on stage. I
he
noticed
he
that
lit
too.
he literally he'll pick a bottle of water up, he takes this tiniest sip in the world, puts the
Yeah,
damn thing down.
I
So
know.
before I go on stage, I drink a litre of water. Do not get me wrong, I spend at least half an hour running backwards and forwards to the toilet before I go on stage.
You don't say toilet in England. You were supposed to say the loo.
Oh,
You don't
sorry, I have to run to the loo half a dozen times, backwards and forwards. To the point, one day I actually even managed to get myself locked in, and they were going, "Where's Kelly? Why is Kelly not on stage?" Because Kelly's locked herself in the loo by accident.
when you told me
So,
that story, I thought it was so funny, and I feel like I do hear a lot of musicians say the first thing they do before going right out on stage is they always end up going to the bathroom.
oh, your bladder just goes, "No, we need to go, and we need to go now."
Yeah, so I
It
did
can't.
notice that too. He doesn't drink a lot of water when he's
He
performing.
doesn't. So he needs to increase his hydration before he goes on stage. And when he's on stage, he probably needs to drink about a litre of water when he's on stage.
I'm American. Tell me liter in like
Oh,
non-metric terms. What does
oh
that
my
mean?
God. 4 pints?
A gallon? He needs to drink is that no, a quart, a quart. 4 pints
A
is a
quart. Yeah, yeah.
quart. Okay.
I don't understand. I grew up on the metric. I don't understand your
No,
weirdness.
everybody else in the world is on the metric, buddy
Oh,
Americans,
no, no,
so
no,
buddy
no.
Americans.
There's America and Bhutan.
And
That's
then
it.
there's
America and Bhutan. That's it. And the
yeah.
rest of us are like, no, darling, it's metric.
Now you're gonna start talking to me in Celsius, and I'll really not know what's
Well,
going on.
when you said 50, I'm thinking 50 is really warm, and then I suddenly
It's true, I
realised
did say 50 degrees. Yeah, you're like, "What?"
it's like, oh my God, how hot is that? That's like I'm dying. I'm living in the
Bloody Americans.
fridge. I don't know what you're playing at, honestly, woman.
But he does need to drink more water on stage, yeah. Like
Yeah,
we said, kinda going back into the coughing that he does, he kinda has yeah.
there's lots of techniques that other singers do. So I didn't see his show in London because I went to see Black Veil Brides. And Andy Black, he has a fantastic singing voice, but he also does a lot of screaming and things like that due to the type of music that it is. He drinks probably 2 litres while he's on stage. And he literally sucks cough lozenges while he's singing. That tells you the level of wear and tear on a singer's voice when
Yeah,
they're singing for you're singing for 2 hours, generally speaking,
yeah.
and you know, you're not resting and doing everything. I mean, there are some who literally do not speak to a person. I mean, being a singer can be really isolating because, I mean, voice your body's your instrument.
Yeah, and now I have after talking with you with this, I have a more understanding of why artists probably don't wanna do multiple shows at the same venue when,
Mm.
you're there 3, 4 nighs and you're doing show after show because gosh, you would need to give your voice a good day to 2 days, I would think,
Oh,
to
yeah.
rest.
I I mean, this is why people like Taylor Swift, who are literally they'll play a stadium and they'll
Right,
do a 5-night run. If you see the entourage that go with them, I mean, she's got medical professionals with her. She's got dietary professionals.
right.
I mean, even down to the fact that you shouldn't really be drinking dairy and things like that before you go on stage. You've got to be careful with the carbs because they can be a bit starchy and it's kind of boring, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah. It's not this glamorous life that it seems to be a
No,
rock star.
no, it's not all rock
Yeah.
star and parties and all this,
Well,
that, and the other.
Sammy, I don't know if you'll ever listen to this podcast, but God, if you do, drink more water. You know,
Please.
please
Please drink more water.
drink more water.
A bottle of water.
Just a bottle of water. That's all we
Bottle
ask.
of water. A bottle of water. I hate that. Why do you all think we say bottle of water?
I don't know.
It's a
Just
bottle
saying.
of water. Thank you.
Water. Drink more
Water.
water.
Yes,
Drink
more
more
water.
water. Water.
Oh, now you said that, and I'm going to go all northern and say water.
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 Uh, well, all right. What a good deep
Cool.
dive. I think we went deeper than we thought we would,
We
but
have.
love the
Yeah.
Void album. And this was the Void album. What are we going to do when it's Heel? God,
We're going to have to break it into 3, aren't we?
we are. We're gonna have to do multiple episodes for Heel because it's just their music is so good. There's so much good things to talk about. But let's wrap up with some fun. We have been laughing throughout this segment, so we're gonna do a game, a Would You Rather game. Some people call this the balance game. I never heard it called that till I started watching
No,
like
I
Korean
haven't.
content. I
No.
always called it the Would You Rather.
Yeah, it would be would you rather. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
so we're going to have a fun Would You Rather. Listeners, we want you to tell us what you would pick out of this. I can't wait to hear what all of you, would choose. But so here's your Would You Rather, Kelly. Would you rather go head to head in a battle of wits with Sassy Sammy? Okay. And if you don't know, if you're not as familiar with the Rose, you don't know what I mean when I say Sassy Sammy, just go check. You gotta check out. This man can get hardcore. He can get savage sometimes. Yeah, and he's definitely sass. A lot of sass, a lot of sarcasm, a lot of cynical sass coming out. So you're gonna go head to head with him, or go head to head with Jaehyeong in an eating competition. And so if listeners aren't as familiar, Jaehan thinks about his next meal before he's even eaten his first meal. This man loves food. And he can eat a lot of food. He's eating all the time. And you watch any Rose content, he's always eating. It's like, so what are you picking? What would you rather?
Right. There's a very, very obvious answer for me. I could not beat Jaehyeong in an eating competition. No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't do it. So there's no point me even pretending I could do that. However, I am an unbelievably sarcastic bitch, so I will take on Sassy Sammy.
Oh my god. Do you have a favorite Sassy Sammy line?
Oh God, there's so many, isn't
There's
there?
so
To be perfect,
many.
this and literally, he just comes out with them all the time. I mean, I think one of my favourites was when he's just like, "Oh, I'm in a mood. This is just the character I'm playing today."
Sorry, I'm in this mood. Just bear with me today, okay? I'm just going to be very, very sarcastic and very, very sassy today. That's just the character I'm playing right now, okay?
Oh gosh, yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
"Excuse me, how many split personalities live in your head?"
Yeah. My favorite one still when he had that live and he made that soup and all the Black Roses were in the chat calling him
Yeah.
micromanaging this man's soup. And he looked and he said, "Don't tell me what to put in my soup."
Yeah. Don't tell me what to put in my soup. I'm not gonna put any salt in there.
I know.
Just like
I
in the
know.
most deadpan way.
I think it's the deadpan delivery that gets me, to be
It
perfectly
is
honest.
the deadpan delivery, and it's just like he would make me cry. I know he's kidding,
Oh
like
God, no.
he's like he has the biggest heart, right? But I feel like he would say something so sassy and like savage to me, and I would just go in the corner and just like huddle down and be like,
Oh God, no. Bring it on. I no.
because he's
Well,
what
let's
did he
go.
say?
I'm down for that one.
I know you would go right back at him. You would ditch it right back at him.
Oh God, yeah. I'm sorry. I'm sarcastic. I am blunt. I'm also one of the most kind, caring person you'd
You
ever want to meet in
are.
your life.
I know
I
you
am a
guys.
little.
You and Sammy are similar that way. You have this bravado, but underneath, you're both like just so soft and mushy people.
Don't tell people I'm mushy.
I know,
Don't
Kelly.
do that.
You can't.
I've got a standard to maintain.
Yeah,
If
you got a
people
rep
think
to protect, don't
I
you?
know. God, honestly,
Well,
woman.
I don't know. I would get tickets to see you and Sammy go head to head in a battle of wits. I would pay for that. And my money's on you because I think you've got a stronger wit than he does.
Don't say that. He'll
Yeah.
get upset.
He'll hit yeah, I know he will. He'd hate to hear that, but my money's on you. Well,
Hey.
I'm picking Jaehyeong because like I said, I'll go cry in the corner when he tells me he's not feeding me shit. What is it he said?
Yeah, I'm not feeding you shit.
You think this is a mukbang? I ain't offering you shit.
I don't want that strawberry anyway. But anyway, I'm going head to head with Jaehyeong because I can eat. Okay, I can
Oh,
open my
yeah.
second stomach, and
I've witnessed this.
I'm
I've
like
witnessed
him.
this.
I think about my next meal before I've had my current meal.
Yes.
And I appreciate a guy who likes food and can eat. And he also seems to like the sweets. So I'm down for cake and cookies and all of that stuff too. So I think I could go to an eating contest with him and hold my
Oh,
own.
yeah, I think you could. I think you
Yeah.
could. How are you holding your spice though?
You know what? I have gotten better with my spice. I've gotten better with my spice for sure. I used to not
Yeah.
like spicy things, but I love spicy food now.
You see, I grew up in the north of England, so I know what a spicy curry is. So I'm pretty good with spice.
Mhm.
Doesn't phase me when somebody goes, "Do you want this hot?" And I'm like, "Well, yes." But no,
Yeah.
I couldn't eat. I could probably match match the heat, but there's no way in hell that I could match the sheer volume. I just couldn't do it.
I
I'd be
love
crying in a corner,
I know, and I love
asking
Jaehyun.
for an
He
Alka
loves
Seltzer.
like every good Korean, he loves his Korean food, right? It's like
Yeah.
they always say when they're out on tour, it's like all they're doing is searching for where's there a Korean restaurant in this country? It's like, I'm with you. I am right there with you. Eat that, get to that barbecue. Let's like keep it coming. Keep the rice flowing. I mean,
Yeah,
when times were hard for Jaehyun, he's eaten kim with rice and gochujang. Like that's what he's just trying to consume, just to have something
to be
in his
but
stomach. Bless his heart.
to be perfectly honest, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that either. I'm down.
Yeah.
I'm down. I'm with you, Jay. All right. Well, that wraps us up, Kelly, for our first episode. So excited, listeners, for you to tell us, what would you pick in that would you rather? Are you going head to head with Sammy or Sassy Sammy, or are you going to do the eating competition with Jaehyun? I can't wait to hear what you guys pick. Share in the comments. We'll be posting this also on Instagram, so I'll probably do a poll. Tell us on Instagram what you think there. And follow us if you haven't yet. Follow us on Instagram and X. Our capital K, capital R, OK _ cast. KRock _ cast. Follow us if you don't already. Email us. Tell us what you think of this episode. krock.cast@gmail. Again, that's KROK.cast@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your feedback. Let us know what you think. And next time, like we said, I think we're going to do our deep dive into Woosung's 44444 Reborn album. It will have dropped by the time this episode is out, so we'll be excited to dig into that. And yeah, thanks everybody for listening. Hopefully see you
Thanks
next time.
everybody. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Bye.